All right. Well, to start off, Dax Raymond had a concussion, so he came back in and then went back out. So after we put him through that, so he had a concussion, and then Blackmar had an ankle. Pretty neat seeing for the fourth preseason game. I think they close to 40,000 fans out there. So I want to thank the fans for coming out to this game and supporting these guys, and then piggyback that with we can't wait to see them coming up here on Thursday, September 5th. It's a huge part of what we do, and we really saw that last year. So that's a challenge there to everybody. I know everyone's excited for it, and so are we. So, but thank you to the fans.
Matt, you've seen Eddie Pinheiro's entire body of work now.
Yep.
Are you willing to go into the Packers game with him as your kicker?
Well, we're going to continue to work through it right now. We have a couple days here, and part of that answer right now from what I've seen is I've liked what I've seen. So one of the things is, so he comes out and he misses that extra point, and right away everyone, we all one of those deals of here we go again. But what I thought was pretty powerful is that he came back and made the next kick, and then made two more after that. So we talk about it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I like the fact that he came back and made those. It would have been nice there at the end of the half to maybe get one a little bit longer, but that's how it goes. As part of, we learn as a team that the false start there can take 10 seconds off the clock. So that's a teaching moment for us. So I like what he's done so far, and I'm proud of the kid.
And you talked about knowing that he's not going to make every kick.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of, if he is your kicker in week one, how much patience you're going to need to have with him in the
Right. So for me, if he ends up being our kicker week one, then I will definitely have some patience, because if you don't, then there's that stat that I think I mentioned to y'all before, and I don't know if you all went and dug up who those kickers were, but there's some interesting numbers with kickers that have struggled coming out of the gates that are now Hall of Famers and Pro Bowl kickers. And so if I don't have patience at that position, I really think we're chasing the cat's tail, and that's not what I'm feeling. That's not what I'm all about, and I know our coaches aren't about that. So there's going to be a little bit of patience, but there's got to be a method, I think, in being able to build trust with him and him build trust with us if it's him.
Were you tempted there at the end to kick a field goal, even though it wouldn't have won the game?
You know what? That's an interesting question. I wasn't, because I didn't even think about that, because you're trying to win the game, so you don't even think about it. It would have been weird to do that, because you're kicking a field goal to lose, so that's why I'm kind of glad it didn't cross my mind, because you guys would be questioning the hell out of me.
What about the 50-yarder though that you passed on fourth down?
So that goes back to last week too, and so Tabes and I, every week we come out to that number, and for us, we were 2 yards, and those are the ones when you're 2 yards past the number that he gives you at halftime. You really want to take a chance and kick it, but we're testing ourselves, meaning Tabor and myself, sticking to that number that we talk about before the game and at halftime. We have to stick to that, and so if that's where he feels, we were essentially, to get long story longer, we were basically playing it like a game. And if that was in a game in week 3, we weren't going to kick that field goal there. That's just where we were at. That depth was just 2 yards outside of what our number was.
What went into having Aaron Lynch play into the second quarter tonight?
His was more of just a reps thing. He hasn't had a lot of volume with reps, so a little bit of conditioning, seeing what he could do. And I watched a few plays of him, and he had that batted ball, but just to be able to see where he's at conditioning wise, and then where he's at just playing.
Where is that?
I think he's, I think he had right around 15 plays today, and our number was around 15 to 20. So we'll see. Again, it's I want to watch the tape and see exactly how he looked along with some other guys.
What do you think about how Dave Ragone called the offense?
He did a great job. Yeah, he did a really good job, and this is a great opportunity for us as coaches to learn and to have. It's not always that easy, and it's getting into personnel and trying to look one play ahead. But I thought he did a really good job, and it was very fluid. There wasn't any confusion, and it's nice too. He has the luxury of working with Tyler every day, so that communication process was good.
Why do you like doing that?
Why do I?
Yeah, why do you like letting him do it?
Well, we did it with Mark last week too. So, and then we even in the end of the third quarter and start of the fourth quarter, we had other coaches call too today. So yeah, so you just give them a chance to. They had a series each, and it's not fair because you're trying to. For them, I'm telling them, hey, I want to see this or I want to see that, and so it's not really normal. But you're letting your guys. It's to me in the real world, it's continuing ed. So you're letting your coaches grow, and even if it's a few plays or a few series, I think it can be really good for the long haul of their careers.
Is that something that Andy did with you?
No, coach did not do that in the preseason. I don't know if he's doing it the last 2 years. That wasn't something that he did. I just and then for me too, it allows me to step back and I can just let them do their thing and watch some players on my own, kind of get a feel of what's going on, and it's just a different perspective. But I try to, my continuing ed is reading books in the off season, and passing the ball is giving responsibility to other people and not trying to be in control of everything.
How happy are you with where the team is at? Obviously, the starters didn't play in the preseason, but in terms of now, you can finally turn the page and look 100% at Green Bay.
Right. Yeah. That's difficult. That balance of trying to make sure you don't take away from the young kids of getting their valuable reps. Because we just had a tough conversation in there that, hey, the next couple of days are going to be difficult. That's a part of life. 90 players down to 53 plus a couple for practice squad. So, but I like where we're at. I thought we had a really good training camp. We grew as a team. We grew as a family. We got better. And now the true test is going to be with our starters, making sure that we understand the length of this season and seeing where we're at. It's going to start here September 5th.
Man, Jesper Horst said is going to be on the fringe of the roster no matter what he does in a fourth preseason game. But what kind of impression did what he did tonight make on you as the head coach?
Well, he makes plays. He did a good job of being consistent with. You can see he does well with catching the football. He still has a ways to go in regards to trying to become a better blocker and learning what routes to run in the pass game. He's very, very raw, and so. But like you said, it is a fourth preseason game, and it's nice to see guys flash and to see him make some. He made a nice play last week in the touchdown, but he was injured there too for a little bit. So, but he had a good game today.
You got what you needed to see out of Alex Bars at left tackle today?
I did, yeah. I didn't get to watch him as much as I'm excited to check it out later on tonight, pop it on and see how those guys did. But I felt like overall, in general, the pocket for Tyler was pretty good. He had a lot of green grass there to throw.
Man, as you solidify the tight end position, how do you differentiate between somebody like Jesper versus Bradley, and what are the key factors into making those decisions there?
Well, they're all a little bit different in what they bring to the table. Whether that's the wide tight end, the U tight end, are they developmental? Are they young? Do they have experience? Where are they at? And we kind of have a little bit of everything right now. So what Ryan and I will have to go back and decide. Okay. What direction do we want to go? Do we see somebody that has a high ceiling? Do we see somebody that we think we can work with more or not? And if we do, then we'll try to develop that. That's what we want to try to develop these players and create our own stars.
Now, from the outside, it seems like you only have maybe a couple of jump balls in terms of roster spots to give out.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about the depth that you guys have put together, about the job Ryan's done in collecting the players? In years past, there have been a lot more questions going into this cut.
Sure. No, I think for us, we're in a really, really good place right now in the depth of our roster in a lot of different, and that's part of the reason why I feel like we're a little bit different than other teams and why we could do this here in the preseason with trying to see who our backups are in a lot of spots. So that's a credit to Ryan. Ryan's done an amazing job at making sure that he has a plan, and then he communicates that plan to his personnel staff. He communicates the plan with us as coaches. We talk through it, and just to see what he's done from when he got here to right now, and you look at that roster, right now with what he's done, it's pretty amazing.
How many roster spots of those 53 would you say are in any doubt at this point?
In what?
In any doubt. How many of those 53 roster spots are still up?
I don't know if I know an exact number. I just know this, that there are a couple spots throughout this roster that we know, without getting into detail or giving it away, we know that we either need to get better there, or we're going to have to make a decision on keeping those guys and trying to develop. There are a couple of those spots, and so really tonight and then tomorrow morning for us, we're gonna have some good conversations as to what's best for the Chicago Bears. And then I was just asked this question earlier, the numbers for rosters, having these, you got to have this amount of these guys, this amount of this position, this amount. We're going to try our best to keep our best players, and if you do that, then it allows you to I think get better as the years go on.
Now that this part of the process is over, and I know you haven't had time to reflect, but what's the best way to kind of say what your confidence is in Trubisky's preparedness for the regular season? Now that it's,
Yeah.
now that you're at that point.
No, I feel really, really good with where he's at. I know that he's worked really hard, even just this past week, for us being able to see, and in meetings, just seeing where he's grown from, I think about last year to this year, where he was at in the questions that he's asking me and the questions that he's asking Rags and Coach Helfrich. So we'll see. We'll see when he's put to the test. We won't really know that until we get going. But I've ultimate confidence in where he's at. I'm excited to see what this year's going to bring for him.
Matt, going back to Eddie for a second, the alternative now is somebody who hasn't been here, who hasn't
Right.
worked with your guys.
Yeah.
What value do you put on just knowing Eddie, knowing how he responds to coaching, just your experience with him, as opposed to a guy that you'd be getting cold?
Right. No, so with Eddie's situation, he's been with us now for a while. He's had a lot of kicks. He's been through a lot of different challenges that we've given him. And to his credit, he's worked through and fought through all that. No matter how we handled it, however we decided to handle the way we went, he got through it all. And I told you guys that the true test is gonna be the games in the preseason. And I don't know his exact numbers, but I think he missed one field goal.
3 kicks overall.
But yeah, 1 extra point, 1 field goal, and then he hit the 58-yarder, and I think but I think their guy missed an extra point tonight the same direction. So and he's been that. I was with him in Kansas City. He's a good kicker, and he's been kicking for a while. So so to go back to your question, there is some. I mean, that would be a major concern. I think if you go get somebody to come in here that's never kicked in here or doesn't have that experience. We've fought through to this point right now, and I like where he's at. We'll discuss it and decide, is that the route we want to go, and if it is, then we just need to have a little bit of patience. But I'll go back to I want to see a great success story from this kid, and I think hopefully we all do, and hopefully he's somebody that we end up going with, and then we stick with, and then he wins us games. But the next couple of days here, a lot of stuff can happen, so you just never know. So I hate to say, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, no problem.